Back in the days when I started playing Magic, one of the best decks in the standard format was a blue-white heroic deck. This deck would play Theros block creatures with the heroic mechanic, which would power them up every time you targeted them with a spell. After the Theros block rotated out of standard, however, the deck just never got the push that it needed to make it big in any of the Eternal formats of the time. But it has been 10 years, and we now have MTG Arena and the Explorer format to give this standard all-star another chance. I put together a deck list with 15 creatures, 26 targeting non-creature spells, and 20 lands, including some of the very cards that the deck used back in 2013, and put it to the test against best of one ranked Explorer. Can Blue-White Heroic stand up to the 2023 metagame? Let's find out. Alright, we're just playing a couple games out with this deck. I wanted to test it because this is the deck I've really been wanting to play in the Explorer format. So far this opening hand does not look like it's really gonna cut it. We do have a creature, but just one land really won't do it. 2 lands does certainly look a lot better. The Illuminator Virtuoso is pretty nice, the Favorite Hoplite on turn 1 is awesome, so I think we're gonna keep this 6. And to bottom, I mean, we'll just get rid of the Homestead Courage for now. We'd prefer card draw and evasion in those 2 cards there. So let's go ahead and just drop the Favorite Hoplite, and we'll see what happens. Alright, our opponent's on a blue deck. I'm hoping it's not like Blue-White Delver or something, that would be a little miserable. We're just gonna go ahead and attack with the Hoplite. No need to worry yet. I think we'll just drop the Virtuoso. I mean, worst case it gets targeted and bounced back to our hands, but it's not too bad. Oh, we got the Thespian Stage, which means we are up against Lotus Field, which is not exactly the deck that we want to be playing against. We definitely got to make sure that we aggro them out. We're going to have to put the Curious Obsession over on the Illuminator Virtuoso. One of the better cards that we've gotten in recent years for this archetype. So let's go ahead and stick the Curious Obsession on here. We'll connive. Okay, I was hoping to hit something, but I guess we need untapped lands. We can discard that Seachrome Coast, that's no problem. Now we'll go to combat. They're going to take 5, which is fine for us. We also get 2 card draws off the Curious Obsession, which is pretty great. We have the Slip Out the Back for protection. Oh, more lands. Dear good. This deck really only ever needs like 2 or 3 lands. We certainly don't need 7 of them. The nice thing about them doing this, though, is that they can't play Lotus Field right now, otherwise they lose the Thespian Stage. So I don't quite know why they would have done that. Vizier of Tumbling Sands, for sure, buddy. They're probably going to end up blocking with this thing anyways. I think we just want to slip out right now. We definitely need to get rid of some of these dead lands in our hand. Oh my goodness. Land number 8. Let's keep a tally, shall we? We're going to go with the Homestead Courage. I know that... Oh, land number 9 is rough. I know that this isn't necessarily the best idea, especially when they're probably just going to end up blocking it and not taking a bunch of damage. But, I mean, we got to do what we can do, right? I'm actually surprised they let the damage go through. Like, unless they think that they're just going to win the game, like, ASAP. They go down to 5 life. If they try to bounce some of our stuff, we have the Slip Out the Back. We have the Security Bypass. So I think we're just going to hold up our mana, and unless they do some sort of like mass board wipe, even through that, I think we still have this game. Because Security Bypass gives us basically unblockable as long as it attacks alone. We can Slip Out the Back to, you know, get rid of any issues that we may see coming up. I mean, unless they just have the Lotus Field combo right here and now, that would be a little miserable. But, you know, let's just say they do, right? We could very easily just, we could fizzle their Cyclonic Rift, which would be great. Alright, so opponent copies the Thespian Stage. Now he's got 2 Lotus Fields. Gonna untap with the Vizier, and then just play out a bunch of cards, and I guess I will get back to you when he's done with that. Okay, I guess they just didn't have it. Alright, so this opening hand is for sure very slow, especially since we're on the draw. The double Illuminator Virtuoso is fine. I think we're okay to keep this. It certainly depends what our opponent has. Like, if they're gonna out-aggro us, then we're probably just dead anyways. Ah, there we go. We got the Goblin deck. Okay, that is a good pickup in the Favorite Hoplite. I don't know how much removal and burn spells they run in this deck, but the less the better for us. Absolutely. Alright, so it's red-green elves. or sorry, red-green goblins. This is not a build that I'm too familiar with. So I think we'll go get in some cheeky little damage with our Hoplite. We don't even need to play anything because they're just too afraid to attack. And then second main, we'll go and drop Illuminator Virtuoso. And we'll see what they got. They could sack the Horde Master. I don't see why they would though. They're definitely doing the beatdown plan. Dear God, that is a lot of elves. Why do I keep saying elves? That is a lot of goblins. We will not block. There is literally zero reason to block that Skirk Prospector. Especially, well, there's a Battle-Wise Hoplite. That's a classic card in this archetype. I think we're just gonna go for a Homestead Courage. Might as well start growing this Illuminator Virtuoso if we can. God's Willing is definitely a good one. I think at the point that we're at right now, we can get rid of the Hoplite, because we really need more spells to hit. And then, I say, we go to combat. Attacking with both of our creatures. Okay, they decide not to block, which is really good for us, because if we can pump up our Virtuoso, I think we can probably kill them by next turn. Having just the double strike naturally built into it and not having to run like Temur Battle Rage or something is an enormous help. Chandra. Does Chandra do anything? On this board, I really don't think so. Yeah, she can deal damage to us and generate red mana, but they're empty-handed, and I don't exactly think they have a way through this. It's my turn. Did we miss our opportunity to phase out? No, we did not. Okay, so I'm just gonna slip out the back, grow the Virtuoso. Another God's Willing. Okay, so we can pitch the other Virtuoso because they are kind of just dead this turn. Now we're back to our turn. Got extra mana, and just in case something goes wrong, we have the double God's Willing, which is kind of insane. Do they see that the writing is on the wall? Yes, they do. Let's go. This hand is fine, but I don't really like having to hold back the Virtuoso. We do go on the play, so we're probably just going to hope that our opponent doesn't have a removal spell. This is a risky keep for sure, but I think with the cards that we have here, as long as the Virtuoso can live for a couple turns with the Curious Obsession and all that, I think we'll end up being okay. Alright, let's get out that fast land. Gotta love having the fast land. Unfortunately, I don't have the full mana base for this deck. I mean, I'm trying to build as many decks as I can for as many formats as I can, so it's a little unfortunate. I think we just run it out. I know we're against a red deck. They definitely have some sort of way to remove this thing, but we're kind of desperate here. If we don't get started and we don't draw another land, we're kind of dead anyways. Okay, Ledger Shredder is good. Judging by this mana base, this is probably Izzet Phoenix. I know this deck quite well, so I don't imagine it being anything else. Let's do that. Another land is really good. As much as I like Staggering Insight, we kind of get all the benefits we need from it from the Curious Obsession. So I think we're just going to pitch that, and then we still have some mana open to do a couple other things if we need it. So I say we go and attack. There's no way they're blocking with the Shredder. I mean, unless they really don't need it. So we'll go ahead and give this a Defiant Strike. Yeah, we get to trigger the Ledger Shredder, which is probably what they want. There's the Phoenix. Okay, we can pitch a Homestead Courage. That at least goes back to the graveyard and we can flash it back later. We'll just take the entire playset, why don't we? I would love to see some kind of evasion. That would be really good. Alright, we get to draw another card from another swing. Security Bypass is super good. I mean, unless they can remove the Virtuoso, which, I mean, the only thing we have is Slip Out the back, so I don't know. This is looking to me like a turn 4 kill. Yeah, they just realized they didn't have it. Alright, so we have another pretty bad hand, kind of similar to the first, but in a lot worse of a scenario. I mean, we only got the Hoplite here with no white sources. We're on the draw. This is not going to go good for us. So yeah, Goblin Slayer 420, we're going to have to mull our hand. This one's looking better. We're still a little slow with the 2-drop creatures, but with only, you know, a single 1-drop creature in this deck, like, there's only so much that you could ask for, right? So we'll do that, and I think we'll put a Virtuoso to the bottom. Alright, we've got a red aggro deck, just like the last game. Ah, man, I think we play out the Battle-Wise Hoplite first, just in case that eats a burn spell. Then we can play Virtuoso, and then hold up some protection for it. Alright, we are just getting goblined out here. Well, they're sure to not draw something at some point, right? They're only down to 3 cards in hand, and we're still laying low back here. Hobgoblin Bandit Lord. Well, that's pretty good. That means we can't block anymore. Alright, another land. We'll take it for now. And I think we're going to go with a Homestead Courage on this thing. We get to Scry and Staggering Insight. You know what? No, that's fine. We already have the Staggering Insight as is. At least, you know, getting the lifelink when we have the opportunity to is pretty good. Is there no reason? No, there really isn't a reason to just not play it right now, right? We might be able to just like, yeah, that's going to the bottom. We might be able to just get them to scoop because we have a big enough creature. Vigilance and lifelink, and they can't like attack into it. This is an enormous swing. What you got, opponent? Can you drop 6 goblins in a single turn? They've definitely got the Embercleave. They wouldn't make that attack unless they had the Embercleave. So I think we just gotta block this. That's the only thing that I don't think dies to Embercleave. Oh, surprisingly they don't. Okay. Stoke the flames. Yeah, that's rough. Okay. Well, we've got the Illuminator Virtuoso. And I guess we gotta stick this on here? No, we can't stick that on there because it's just gonna get sacrificed. So I think what we do is we just Homestead Courage this. Grow it big enough to the point where they have to throw out a burn spell. We'll pitch a Curious Obsession. It gets a counter, and yeah, we'll just play the Favorite Hoplite. Just have like a backup creature out. Alright, Horde Master. That's not very good. That's pretty bad for us. Is there any reason to block this thing? I don't think so. That thing can hit players? Okay, I guess it's any target. I genuinely didn't realize that. So let's go for a security bypass on the Virtuoso. Homestead Courage is a good one, so we'll pitch a land. Doesn't get any bigger, but this will at least help us get through with some damage. Yeah, we don't need land number 5. There's no reason to do that. They just scoop it up. We weren't even in a winning position, but sure, we'll take it. Alright, and now we get into the worst part of this deck, which is the hands that don't have any creatures in them. Like, there's no way that we can keep this hand. We're just gonna have to hope and pray that we get something here. Yeah, this is bad. This is pretty bad. We can luckily keep this one, but I mean, if our Virtuoso gets destroyed, then we're kind of in a really bad spot. We'll bottom a Curious Obsession since we already have one. We can get rid of a Defiant Strike. So we're just gonna have to hope and pray that our opponent does not have the removal spell. Oh, they're in red. They're in red. That's not a good look. Another land into a Bard. Oh, so this is gonna be Gruul Legends. Yeah. They might have a way to remove our creatures, but just in case, we'll go ahead with the Stormchaser Drake first. Stormchaser Drake is like surprisingly underrated because drawing all these extra cards for targeting it is like super good. So they level up their Bard class. Now everything costs a red and a green less, so are they just gonna flood the board with a bunch of legends? Oh, genuinely, I'm surprised. So I think what we do, we're gonna go for a Curious Obsession. We get to draw a card once it gets targeted. Get another one back in hand is pretty good. And we'll swing in with Drake. We will take the card draw. We definitely will. And luckily for us, we got a Favorite Hoplite. So now we can keep it up with the Slip Out the Back, the God's Willing, whatever our opponent has planned for us. Okay, we got a Burgy. Burgy's pretty good. Do they have some sort of way to just generate infinite mana off of it? Because that would be kind of nuts. Alright, we got the Hajar, we got the Clothis. We got the whole gang. I don't know how we beat this, to be honest with you. Like, protection spells only get us so far. And they pay the extra mana for Gigantha. Okay, that offers us maybe a slight window. Alright, another Slip Out the Back is good. So we'll go ahead with the Curious Obsession on the Hoplite. Alright. Now, I just wonder, should we go for the God's Willing? Either way, I think we may have to, just to see what they have. So we'll go ahead and full swing. They're just going to take the damage. Okay. That is fine. We get to draw a couple cards, which we'd like to see. Yes, we'll draw a card, and yeah, we'll draw another card. Okay, another favorite hoplite is pretty good to see. They don't have any flyers, so depending on how this thing goes, if we can keep our creatures safe, we may just have a shot here. There's no cards in the yard for Clothis to eat yet, which is nice. The Domri could be an issue. But if they're just going to make it fight one of our creatures, then we have the slip out the back protection. And the Giganta. Okay. But luckily for us, all of our opponent's creatures are red. And they got the Silkenzan, okay. Are they going to try to go in for like an Alpha Strike or something? Alright, so now we slip out the back, take a damage for it, we get to draw a card. Another Illuminator Virtuoso. They're going to swing in. Do we care about the damage right now? I don't think we do. I think we'll be fine. Alright, Sejiri's Shelter is a good one. That's a nice one to have out. Let's go for... You know what, let's go to combat first. So let's just take a swing. I don't want to go all out. I think we're just going to swing with the Drake, just to be safe. This way it also keeps our Curious Obsessions online. And hopefully, I actually kind of want to land here so that we can play a 2-drop creature and then hold up the Sejiri Shelter. That's what we were wanting. We called it, man. Illuminator Virtuoso is a good one to have. Now we got enough blockers so that we're not quite dead on board. Unless we are. No, I think I might have made a mistake there. We are most certainly dead. We'll let the opponent play it out. There is a good chance that they might just misplay, which would be great, but I don't think they're going to. Yeah, so they're going to pump the Lair of the Hydra. There's the Lair. Is there a chance that we live through this? Because we can slip out the back something. And then block these 3. Yeah, I think we still survive. Slip out the back actually might be saving us. So no Giganta for the attack. That's fine. They're going to full swing at us. You know what? I might have miscalculated that. I think I spoke too early. We are completely still dead. Best I can do is just God's willing and see if something happens, something changes. Yep, nothing changed. Alright, that was a very close one. We were like a turn away from winning. Which is just such a shame. Yeah, there's the other one just rubbing in our face. Alright. GG's opponent. Alright, well this is not a hand that we really want to see. Unfortunately, not having the blue with so many blue spells in hand, that's a bit of a death sentence. So we're gonna mulligan, hope for a better second hand. Well, we're not in much better of a position, but the Storm Chaser Drake is pretty nice. We have both of our colors, we have the spells to support it. I think we can keep the 6, and we'll just bottom a God's Willing for now. So let's start just with a tap land, maybe make our opponent think that we're on some kind of control deck. That's the plan. We just gotta trick him. Oh, we're against Rakdos. Oh, that's not what I want to see. That is not what I want to see. This game is pretty much over already. Yep. There goes our creature. Well, I'll play it out for a couple turns. If we don't draw a creature, I'm just gonna scoop it up. Opponent, are they gonna play out a Kroxa? Let's see it. Let's see the Kroxa. Okay. Blood Tithe Harvester just as well, sure. Another land. Yeah, alright, we're gonna just scoop this up. There's no coming back from that. Alright, well if last game we flooded out on non-creature spells, this time we're flooding out on creatures. Honestly, I think after last game I'm a little traumatized, so I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna have the Illuminator Virtuosos, and we're just gonna hope to draw a blue source. I know that never sounds great when it comes to like an actual game, but I've got a feeling that we're gonna get something. Alright, so let's get out our Hoplite. Worst case, this thing just dies to a Fatal Push, then we have a Virtuoso. And then we got a Storm Chaser Drake, then another Virtuoso. And we got the Elves. Are we just playing generic Elves, or is this gonna be like brutal, super quick kill us on turn 3 Elves? I mean, I guess it all depends on what this hand looks like. Let's go for the Illuminator Virtuoso. If it's just elves and not like some sort of mid-range deck, then Illuminator Virtuoso is gonna stick around for a while. If we could draw... Okay, this is Devotion. Devotion isn't too bad for this matchup. I think we're gonna Homestead Courage here. We want to at least be able to dig some cards deep. We can chuck the Security Bypass. And then I think we're just gonna have to do it directly again. No land again. Okay. So I think we'll just chuck the Slip out the back. Because at this point, if we find a blue source, Security Bypass kind of just wins us the game. Our opponent is going to block with the Troll and then probably just reanimate it. I don't know. We either need the Security Bypass or like some protection spells. Those would be absolutely 100% amazing. Do we get Cavaliered? No, that's not enough mana. Do we get Kiorid? Could be. Oh, yes, right. Yeah, that produces extra mana. Okay. And they probably want this thing to die, do they not? No, there's Security Bypass. Okay. No attacks, your go, opponent. This is brutal drawing. Especially against, like, one of the best decks of the format. So, they got 7 Devotion. Storm the Festival. Oh boy. Okay, that was not the worst hit we could have gotten. I will say that. I mean, they still got an enormous amount of mana. But if we ever get that protection spell that we super desperately want, or if we get a blue spell, yeah, I think this is looking a lot better. Alright, show me what you got, opponent. You just gonna storm the festival again? Yeah, sure, let's see it. What you got, buddy? Oh. So they're gonna cure again. Just going through the motions. Polukranos Reborn. Yep. Okay, well there's blue land. It's unfortunate because I think they may be able to deal with our Illuminator Virtuoso right now. So pretty much our one shot that we have is like, I don't even know, some kind of pump spell, a Defiant Strike? Okay, well I guess we'll just get rid of the other Virtuoso. We don't need that. So we potentially have one more turn. It's not looking super likely, but we do have it. Okay, so we get to Connive. I mean, depending on what we hit, this could be possible. Yeah, we definitely needed that, like, a whole turn earlier. I think if we had this Homestead Courage, maybe they wouldn't be dead, but they would certainly be a lot closer to it. We'll Connive again. Seriously, all we need... we don't need another land. But I do want to grow this thing bigger. This might be a bit of a risky play, but like that's all we can do. I mean, if they have the Ugin, I think that's the only way to get out of this. There's the Karn. What do they search? It's an artifact? Oh, yep, that's game. Alright, and so we're back to the same problem that we had before. We have no white sources and all of our creatures need white mana. This is a little bit better. I guess we'll just keep it. And we'll just, honestly, just pitch a land to the bottom. I think land is probably the least necessary thing that we need right now. Stitcher Supplier. Okay, so from the looks of it, is this Dredge? Yeah, Dredge got a new toy, didn't it? Well, good thing we bought him that land, because we just got another one. And in this scenario, that is not what you want, man. Grizzly Salvage. What do they get? One Creeping Chill, which means they're going to get back their Gruul. Now, I've played this deck myself, and honestly, unless you build with like a win con in mind, you kind of just flood the board, and that's, you know, about all that happens. With this Security Bypass, and hopefully with very little removal on their end, I think we'll actually be okay. We definitely didn't want land number 5, but Battlewise Hoplite it is. Alright, we got Otherworldly Gaze. Well, there's a Creeping Chill, but do they have a creature to reanimate? I think their Gruul came back, so no Prized Amalgam yet. Are they going to flash it back? Grizzly Salvage. Okay, so that Gruul does come back, and then the Prized Amalgams are going to come back. Although I think they come back on my end step, if I'm understanding this correctly. Well, they get to swing in. I'm surprised they don't want to block I'm surprised they don't want this thing dead. Yeah, so those amalgams are going to come back later. So I think what we're going to do, we'll start with the good old security bypass. Favorite hoplite, I don't think we need it right now. I think we're going all in on just the Battle-Wise hoplite. So we'll go to combat. As much as I kind of don't want to do this, we do have to hit in at some point. Oh, we have security bypass. I am a fool. Yeah, we'll check out the other hoplite. If they somehow have 2 removal spells in the mix of all this, then, like, good for them, I guess. Oh, hold up. Yeah, we're just dead. Alright. So we started the video off with like a 4-game winning streak, which I really didn't see coming. Like, I didn't expect with the decks that we were up against, any kind of victory there. But then we really burned out in those last couple games. Like, we really need exactly the cards that we need in our opening hands. We have to mulligan aggressively, and then even then there are some matchups that we're completely just screwed against. Take an example like Rakdos, where even if they don't have a direct kill spell, they still have something like Sheoldred's Edict. The only way out of that is through like a slip out the back. But if we don't have it, then they kind of just get us super bad. The good thing though is that even in the matches that we did end up losing, we did actually put up a very good fight. I especially look back on that match against like Gruul Legends where we were just about 1 attack away from actually winning that game. Were it not for that lair of the Hydra, we would have survived that combat on 1 life and then just won the game from there. So if you're trying to play this deck for Ranked Explorer, I don't really think this is the deck you're going to want to go for. You definitely want something that's got a little bit more oomph and a better late game and something that's not just trying to jank you out and win on turn 4. But if you're looking to just play Explorer and you want a deck that's pretty cheap to get into, honestly this is a pretty good pickup. The Defiant Strikes and the God's Willings are both Strixhaven Mystical Archives, and they're at higher rarities than they actually seem. But, I mean, aside from the mana base that I have here, pretty much every card that you can play in the main deck is an uncommon or a common, so it's incredibly budget friendly. I hope you enjoy this style of video. I might end up doing these a little more often so I don't leave more Mondays blank and still have something to post. And I do have another full post-commentary video that's highly edited, the stuff that I was trying to do beforehand. I've got one of those coming up next week on a pretty fun brew that I think you'll enjoy. Thank you very much for making it to the end of the video if you got here. If you did, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like on this video. If you want to, you can subscribe to the channel to check out that upcoming video and so many more. And you can follow me on social media at JayoticMTG. All the links will be down in the description below. Until next time, take care.